It must be time. It must be live. Hi, and welcome to the Catalyst Sessions. Once again, I'm Bill DeYoung from the St. Pete Catalyst, and we're all here keeping our arts community connected. Very special guest tonight. Michael Francis has been the Florida Orchestra's music director since 2014, a position he is contracted to through 2024. We're going to ask him if that's been extended when he comes on in a minute. I hope so. Since he signed on, the orchestra has seen a remarkable increase, not only in concert attendance, but in its overall presence in the community through outreach performances and involvement in non-traditional ways of communication. In other words, the Florida Orchestra's upswing over the last couple of years has been concurrent with Michael Francis's tenure as its very recognizable public face. So we're pleased to say hello to Maestro Michael Francis. Hey there.
Well, I'm not sure I'm so recognizable with my COVID-19 beard. And the last time I grew a beard, it was distinctly less gray, as my daughter likes to point out. But that's how it is. But thank you very much for that lovely introduction. It's a pleasure to be here with you. How are you?
Getting through it. I have my I need a haircut COVID-19 hair growth. Hey, listen, you told me that you played to around the number you used was 80,000 people for free every year. And you said so many times that community involvement is very important to you. And that was a big thing. You and Mark Cantrell agree on this. Tell me what you mean, community involvement. Explain that.
Well, if you believe that the music has a certain power, and it does, because anybody who comes to a concert and listens to a full orchestra in full swing, it is a thrilling, engaging, emotive, powerful experience. It just hits you right in the solar plexus, goes right into your soul. So if you believe that it can do all the positive things that we talk about regularly, well, then you want to take it to everybody. There should be no barriers to participation. So we make sure that if you can't come to us, well, then we'll come to you. And that we're not dictated by the size of our concert hall, but by the size of our community. So we want to make sure that everybody can have, or as many as we can reach, can have that opportunity to hear an amazing orchestra playing wonderful repertoire with great passion. We love to communicate as well as we can, talking about the music, helping people sort of not be intimidated by it, but actually see how it connects to their lives.
Yeah.
So we take it everywhere. And we also think that it's important it goes into the schools, into retirement centers, into hospitals. We just do a lot. And there's a great passion from the entire organization and from the community. It's been a real success.
It's something I know that, say, the opera companies deal with. There's a certain stigma attached to classical music, or, it's rather upper crusty. I mean, is there an element in doing that of saying, hey, it's not just for, the tuxedo and evening gown crowd. This is pretty amazing stuff, and we want you to think about coming to one of the full concerts.
Absolutely. And what we see with that is that as people realize that, I mean, what we don't want to do is dumb down the art form, and we don't do that. I mean, we still play the very best music at the very highest level. And if you do those things, if there's quality, then that should be the same whether you're playing in a park, it should be the same whether you're in a concert hall, it should be the same everywhere. So we really make sure there's excellence in all things. But what we notice is that people often say, wow, I've never seen, because it's not just hearing an orchestra, it's seeing an orchestra. The thrill of seeing all those violins moving in the same way. When you notice the symbol's about to happen, when the conductor's doing some other ridiculous gesticulation, or of course, the best of all, when you see the soloist's hands flying all over the shop in a Rachmaninoff concerto. When you see it, when you feel it, and then whether it be in a hospital, whether it be in a school, and of course in a side-by-side. We do a lot of concerts where we sit next to the kids, or the kids sit next to us, and they get to hear and play with the professional orchestra. And then to hear that, and then to hear us play it, I mean, it's so amazing. So yeah, we see a lot of upturn in it for our ticket sales, of course, though that isn't the main reason we do it. There is always additional benefits.
So I'm trying to remember, the budget is, you have a $12 million operating budget. What's your percentage of ticket sales? First of all, did I get the figure correct?
Yeah, I think it might be a tiny bit less than that, but it's something around that. I mean, my job is to do my job is to put on all the expensive programs and make other people, look after it. I mean, I'm the artist.
That must be nice. I'm the artist. Don't bother me with such.
No. I mean, obviously, I'm very involved with with all that stuff as well. So the ticket sales in most American orchestras, and we're about the same, account for around 35%.
Okay.
Of our revenue. That's all.
And donations as well is a big part of it, right? I mean, that's
pretty much the other 65% is donation.
yeah.
So, I mean, of course, there's some from endowment, but majority is people donating. So that's an enormous part for us. And that's why I think what I love about the American model is that the community own the orchestra. So there isn't the same level of government support or state support as you see in Germany, for example. Yeah. Here, people actually put their money into the orchestra and often do for decades. So they feel like they're stewards and guardians of culture for the next generations. And it's very moving. And actually, I would say the most moving experiences for me are when you see investors, I suppose, or patrons who've really cared about it for many years, coming afterwards and are so excited and alive and saying, I've never heard the orchestra sound like this. They're playing so well, and they're moved because they've been part of the journey. That is deeply rewarding to see them feel like that the time, the effort, the finances they put into it are really paying off.
The curtain came down. This was season 51, I think, right? Am I correct in remembering that?
Maybe 52. Yeah, I think something like that. 50, maybe 52.
Okay, well, yeah. It happened in March, and your calendar would have run out, say, in May for the season. So no concerts, no public engagement, no performances. I mean, but it was kind of the end. I mean, how devastating is that? You guys were sort of getting ready to take a break anyway. So, I mean, are you sort of better off than other performing organizations might be?
Well, I mean, we still had a lot to go. I think we had about 12 or 13 weeks, which of course is a huge amount of repertoire for us. And we had some real highlights. We were just about to do the John Passion. We had a big, huge concert of the year with the Rite of Spring and Beethoven 5. We had and a great Pops concert. So we had a lot of amazing projects coming up. So we're very, very disappointed not to be able to bring those. Yeah. Yes, I mean, but we cancelled until May the 10th. So we're still hoping, of course, optimistically that we might get something in at the end of the season. So what we've done is our season finishes around May the 31st. So in some ways, it's a little easier for us than it is for orchestras who go 52 weeks. But it's still, above all, it's heartbreaking that we can't bring this wonderful music. And the last concert we finished on, which was the Rachmaninoff's Third Piano Concerto, and that concert was just such a fantastic one. So I really felt that we were on the crest of a wave and just flowing right through at a really high level. So to suddenly have that taken away, I mean, we all feel a little bereft of music making.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the things that TFO is doing now. You're broadcasting earlier recordings. Can you tell me about that?
So what we wanted to do was make sure that people still feel the presence of a regular concert. So on 7 o'clock on Thursdays on WSMR, we're broadcasting. And what I've been doing, and Daniel Black will do this week, our associate conductor, is providing 5 or 10 minute introductory videos so people can sort of be refreshed about the piece. So these are concerts that we've done already this season and some from last season. And for example, when we've got a program coming up that we haven't done recently, then we'll take composite recordings from other archival things that we've done in the past. So we're trying to sort of recreate the concert experience, although we all know that there's nothing like the concert experience. And why? Well, part of the concert experience is that you're watching risk. You're watching things that could go wrong. You're watching conductors take things at a crazy, stupid tempo at times, and the musicians on the edge of their seat. You're watching that kinetic power come together. And of course, you're feeling it from the audience around you. So you can't recreate it, but you can do a good job of providing it some content so that we still have people feeling that we're connected to them during this isolation.
What else can you do though? Performers, it's not like you can, okay, let's get the string section together virtually and we'll play something. I mean, you want to talk about Invitation to Arrhythmia, I think just try doing it virtually. What other options do you have?
I mean, there are some things. I mean, there are orchestras, and we actually did a musical message of gratitude to our board, which we took a piece of music and we all played the certain parts of it and sort of put it together, just to sort of thank our board who've been amazing and really being brave to make sure all our musicians are paid through the end of the season despite what's going on. They've really stepped up in an amazing way. It's a real success story. That's and something I think the community should feel very proud of, that an orchestra, the board cares so much about the musicians, and on top of that we're in good health that we're able to do that. So I think that's really great. And then what we'll be doing more and more of is creating this content, creating these things where through video editing and stuff, and that we can put things together and more informative and more original things. So do keep visiting the TFO Facebook page and our website, and you'll see there's quite a lot. Our TFO at home. There's a lot of stuff where our musicians. I mean, there's one thing with a trumpet and a barking dog, and there's actually the most popular clip is of a double bass player playing a section of a Beethoven symphony with the Beethoven in the background and him playing up close. And it's rather humorous. I can say that as a former bass player myself, that it brought a smile to my face. But that's been watched thousands of times. Alan Glick has become a
TFO at home, it's called. So you just sort of check the website and there it is.
You'll see a lot of content from us really trying to make sure that people feel very connected.
Yeah, and that's why we do this too, is to say, we're all in different rooms, but we're all still together. You provided me with a really cool segue there, because you were a bassist for many, many years. How many years were you with the London Symphony Orchestra?
I played with them for about 10 or 11 years, but as a member for about 8 or 9 years. I can never quite remember. Okay. Yeah. So a long time.
So from there, Michael, you made the transition into conducting, I guess, during the latter part of that tenure. Was conducting something that was that like an ultimate goal? I'm eventually going to do that, or did it just develop over time? I'd like to try that.
So my father was a bass player, so it was easy for me to pick up the bass when I was about 11. I was mad for sports, so I was playing soccer and everything, and I came home, I said, let me have a go, Dad. And I got lots of lessons. So I got good on the bass quite quickly because I had lessons every day. And then I was probably a backseat driver. So I was at the bottom of the orchestra when I was 14, very cocky, thinking I should be the leader and trying to lead from the bottom and everything, and just basically being a bit of an idiot. And the conductor said, that boy should be a conductor. And I think what he meant was he would cause less trouble from the podium than he does from the bass section. But something went in, and I always thought, I really would like to do that. And I think it suited my personality. Read into that what you want. And then
you'll ask your family what that means,
So then I went to university and things, and I joined the London Symphony, but it was always with the plan of leaving to be a conductor, always.
Yeah. Do you still play?
No, but I'm sure there must be some way that I'll be roped into doing one of these video duets with somebody at some point. I don't own a bass, but
with a barking dog, perhaps.
A barking that I can do. Howling in my case, I would say. Yeah. But I can still play. Of course, the issue actually is, Bill, is that your fingers go soft. So when you pick it up again, you're surprised how much it hurts. And of course, you're never as good as you like to think that you were.
Well, let us know when you do that, because we'll put that out through the Catalyst as well. You became an American citizen not long ago. I think that might have been the last time you and I spoke. So how's that going? What's that feel like now? Craving for, ballpark franks and that kind of, hot baseball games? Does it really work like
I think it's lovely, really. I mean, I sort of over time it does. I mean, first of all, it was a bit surreal. I mean, when I didn't think anyone would be interested, so I mentioned it to the staff and said, I don't know if you're interested in this, but I'm becoming an American on this day. So this thing blew up into this huge story. And it was and I think what people felt, it was a very positive immigration story. And so I think that was what was nice about it. And for me, I was very moved, and people were really very, very open and warm and enthusiastic. I remember I was in Dick's Sporting Goods with my daughter trying to buy a cycle helmet. Someone I'd never met before came up and said, "Congratulations on becoming an American." So I think it sort of tapped into something really lovely. For me, now that I've traveled a few times back and forth, I've obviously, now that my diary's just been blown wide open for the next 6 months, I'm not traveling as much. But traveling back in as an American, now I'm starting to feel it more. I'll still obviously sound like I'm an extra from Downton Abbey, but I do feel now a close kinship with America. And I would say, here's a difference. I'm also starting to read much more about the American news than I was before. I'm more interested now that I'm a voter, and I'm more interested that I'm effectively a shareholder in the country than as opposed to just a green card holder. So in that sense, I do feel more emotionally connected.
That could be another conversation entirely. I also got the feeling that the bit you just said about being an extra on Downton Abbey is a line you've been kind of working on for a while. I want to say that somewhere and get a good kick and laugh out of that one. Very well said.
Yeah, but the thing is, here's the point. Now that I'm unshaven, I look like I'm from downstairs, not upstairs. So there's the danger.
You're unreputable. So how's isolation treating you? You and your wife and your daughter. I mean, you guys at each other's.
Well, I'm here. I mean, I'm here in my office.
How's it going?
So, I'll show you 1 second. Sorry, I'm here in my office. So this is sort of command central. There's all my stuff and books and all my scores and things. So, I mean, I would say it's never been so tidy, ever, because I've got time to get things in order. And so I'm doing a lot of stuff. I mean, I think what's nice is that you don't realize how busy you are until you stop. And it's and I mean, since the last concert I would have had, I was meant to be in Europe until Saturday, doing a few big concerts in Germany. And then I was taking my wife for her 40th. Well, I shouldn't have said that, I'd get in trouble. My wife for her birthday.
Her birthday, right. Okay. We'll edit that bit out. Yeah.
Cut that bit out. Cindy, you didn't hear that. To Santorini. So we're meant to be traveling a lot, but I mean, actually having time at home and slowing down, although it doesn't feel like I slowed down, there's been so much to do because of course we're all desperately trying to work out, well, what do we do? I mean, every organization in the world, not just arts. I mean, there's never been anything like this where the entire world has had the handbrake pulled. And we just had all these things taken away from us. And actually, if you think about it, when people say, oh, the arts, they're not necessary. Okay, can you imagine being isolated right now without the arts, without TV, without music, without books, without all these things? That's the arts right there. These are the things that are keeping us connected to the rest of the world, keeping us sane, keeping us stimulated and keeping us learning and growing and increasingly empathetic, hopefully. I mean, it's the arts right now is what we are all absolutely delving into. And so this idea that we're sort of peripheral is rather nonsensical. And I hope that this time has shown everybody, you know, you don't know what you've got until it's gone, that how important it is to share. And I didn't really answer your question, but I would say that with an orchestra, as well as the wonderful music, of course, for our subscribers, it's the center of their social life. It's that sense of going there every Saturday or every Friday or having that dinner, getting to see your friends, talking about the concert, sharing it together, inviting new people. It's a real focal point of the week for them. It's a real time of coming together, switching your phone off, which of course would be nice at this time when we're just seeing the same news all the time, which is of course traumatic and hypnotic. But to switch it off and just to engage with music, with deep subjects, with beautiful, inspiring art form, and to listen and watch people giving their absolute all in pursuit of beauty. We you know, so I can't wait. I know I'll be deeply moved. I'll be clean shaven on my first concert. I'm not going to shave until then, but I can't wait. I look like Gandalf in a few weeks, I'm sure. Yeah, but I can't wait for that first downbeat with the Florida Orchestra, and just to feel them and just to make that, to do what we do and what we're all hankering after. I mean, I feel a hole, I suppose, inside of me, which I can often only be filled by music.
I can relate in a different way. I can certainly relate to that. The next season, if you aren't able to start up in May, let's just say, I'm going to make this my last question too. Will there then be a sort of will you reprise anything next season that you weren't able to do here? I mean, hadn't you already announced the next season?
Yeah, we've already announced. I mean, the subscription starts in February, but of course that's been disrupted by all this, and then no one knows when social gatherings are allowed. So, I mean, I think next season is going to be it's going to be a flexible one because no one knows what's going to happen, how we're going to do it, and what we're trying to do now is find creative ways to respond to. Oh, we need another month, or okay, it's coming back, but maybe people aren't ready for it. Is there a vaccine? I mean, just the world is wide open. So our season at the moment is planned to continue as is advertised. But yeah, there may be a case. I mean, some of the concerts we missed, for example, in the Four Seasons, which has been such a huge highlight for everybody. And that was a huge selling concert that people want to hear that. And poetically, the idea, of course, that we're in a winter now, but spring will follow, means it's a wonderful thing to have. So we will probably find a space for that, and we'll try to rejig some things. And yeah, I would say the season is the same at the moment, but it could well move and adjust. And I think everybody will be perfectly understandable if we do decide to do that for a variety of reasons.
I will tell you, I'll be there for that first downbeat as well, and really looking forward to it. Can't thank you enough for being with us tonight, Maestro, and our best to the family. And
Thanks,
we'll see you.
And thanks for all you're doing for the arts as well here in Tampa Bay. We're really grateful.
It's just a pleasure to be here with everybody, and we'll see you on the other side of all this.
Look forward to it. You'll be smarter, and I'll be Sean. We'll be perfect.
Yeah, that's right. Good night, sir.
Cheers.